Thanks a lot. I'm Benjamin Schulz. I'm one of the founding partners of Carbon Removal Partners. We are a VC founded 2 years ago that exclusively invests in carbon removal tech. So thanks, Andreas, for doing the introduction to carbon removal already. We are also a proud Climeworks investor. Otherwise, we have done 14 investments in the US and in Europe. So we are active everywhere where are the best companies to be found. And our team works from Zurich. And I'm very happy to sit here with Hannes. And we've been working with Carbonfuture since 2 years. It was our first investments together with Climeworks.
Wonderful. Sorry. Many thanks. I'm Hannes, co-founder and CEO of Carbonfuture. What we do is we help this industry, this carbon removal industry, to scale by bringing trust into the activities, both on the supply side and on the transaction side, because scaling an industry hinges on financing in the industry, and financing needs trust. Trust that the carbon removal is real, measurable, actually done, additional, and also trust that the investments will be paid back, paid out in the future. That is the hypothesis why we founded Carbonfuture. We do this now with 2 products, Carbonfuture MRV Plus, which is the most comprehensive MRV solution out there for durable carbon removal today. And we are covering with this solution around 40% of the current removal market of actual deliveries, and with our marketplace solutions where we service customers like Microsoft and Swiss Re's and the like we just have seen on Andreas's presentation. Great to be here with you today and with you, Benjamin. So my first question would be, why did you invest in Carbonfuture?
So when we started to look at carbon removal, we were fascinated by its potential. So as Andreas mentioned, the need for carbon removal is 10 billion tons per year, which is a trillion or $2-3 trillion market. And we were also fascinated by the different approaches to do carbon removal. Climeworks is doing something called DAC, direct air capture, but there are also other approaches. And the main ingredient of all these approaches is MRV, the ability to measure the carbon, trace it, track it, and know where it has gone a few years later. So 2 years ago, we met Hannes and his team from Carbonfuture, and for the first time, we had the impression that somebody had solved the MRV part and had real projects from the biochar world, in that case, running on it. So that was the reason why we invested, because at this point, Carbonfuture was the world's only MRV and had the biggest volume on it. And that's also why we are going to continue invest in Carbonfuture. And Hannes, if I can ask you something, the market this year for carbon removal has been roughly 100,000 tons. And to give people an idea, a Western European person has a 10-ton footprint per year. So that removes the footprint of maybe 10,000 people. So these 100,000 tons, where do you think it's going to go up until 2026? And what share of the market is Carbonfuture being able to capture?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at today, we have around 40% market share, and we just yesterday announced a deal with Microsoft, 32,000 tons, which is kind of also a double-digit percentage of the global delivery this year. So to answer the market share question first, I think if we can convince the leading players today, and we bring, that's one element to keep and grow the market share, and second element is to bring the solutions in a cost-effective and easy-to-access way. So we absolutely want to keep this market share of around 40%, grow it, of course, to as much as possible. In terms of market growth, what we saw in the past years was kind of an extreme but organic growth, right? Modular solutions in centers, and then growing at a rate of 50% or so, or 80% in these centers, but also expanding regionally, globally. So overall we have seen a growth rate of 2x to 3x. I expect that to continue, and on top of that, we see these leapfrog approaches like from Climeworks, like really doing 10x with large infrastructure projects. That will also be the case for other solutions like mentioned before, bioenergy, carbon capture and storage. So I think on top of this more or less organic 3x growth, we'll see a leapfrog growth, 3x organic growth per year. We see leapfrog projects kicking in 26. I expect a medium single-digit megaton range in the coming years.
And you've been in carbon removal since 2019, so one of the first people in there. Climeworks started even earlier, but what have you seen changing from 2019 up until today?
Maybe I use kind of an anecdote here. In 2019, when we started with this hypothesis that it's really the trust and digital transparency that we need to bring into the market, kind of no one really knew why we should do that, why we should pay for it, and I also think nobody no, that was true. Like we just added this layer of quality on our own costs, right? And in 2021-22, we had a conversation with a significant buyer, I would say. The names, we heard about these names. And we got the feedback, okay, we pay a premium for the credits that come through your system because we see an extra quality layer which protects us from backlash from PR or from not delivered credits. So that was really, really encouraging to see that we can also monetize what we bring to the market here. And now, in the meantime, kind of our approach, our lingo on pure quality is adopted. So that's really, really encouraging to see, and that has changed a lot. And now with this latest announcement of Microsoft and customers like Swiss Re, I think this is established amongst the leaders.
So if I can give some context here, Carbonfuture announced yesterday that Microsoft bought 30,000 tons of carbon removal through the Carbonfuture system. And what do we mean by MRV, measurement, reporting, verification? Why is that important? Very likely, if we look into a compliance market into the future where companies have to buy the carbon that they emit into the atmosphere, then this is going to hinge on a MRV and the regulator that probably has to approve that MRV. So it's going to get ever more important that the credits run on an MRV. That's why we keep repeating this topic. And if you look into the future, what are the next products you are going to launch?
Two areas where value is created. One is on the supply side, one is on the marketplace side. On the supply side, for sure, bringing our MRV solutions to new verticals like bioenergy, carbon capture and storage, and enhanced rock weathering in particular. Noting that the BECS MRV solutions are also ready for direct air capture. Direct air capture also deals with liquid CO2 that has to be stored safely. So these are products we are expecting to launch in the course of next year. And on the marketplace side, we see like dealing with future deliveries of credits, which the most of the transactions are future deliveries of credits. That comes with a complexity that has to be handled, for example, by trading desks in large banks, by exchanges, and we have the software solutions developed to deal with these contracts for ourselves, and we will license them out. That's kind of the second new product we are launching. And that is also why we are currently raising a Series A. So last question maybe, why invest now and not wait until the...
Oh, I think we are at an inflection point for carbon removal. The volume is probably going to be 100 times higher in 3-4 years. So I think that's what a lot of investors look for. And maybe for this crowd, what's also interesting, Zurich is a home of carbon removal through Climeworks and ETH Zurich. So while you're here, you're at the perfect spot to speak to carbon removal companies like Carbonfuture. And have a very nice day.
Many thanks.